Welcome back to Dry Hollow Homestead. I am in the kitchen making Milk Kefir, and I wanted to bring you along this time. I keep promising this video because we are huge we're huge proponents of good bacteria in your gut, good gut health, and 70% of your immune system is in your gut. And one of the ways that we support that digestion and the probiotics in our gut is by drinking fermented milk. And this is, yogurt is one of the ways you can get those probiotics. Also, some sauerkraut will do the same thing. And this is Milk Kefir. So we make this into smoothies daily. I do half gallon. So let me show you the whole process. So your first ferment is going to be with milk. This is my milk that has not fermented yet. And I will show you how I strain it off first. So right now I have to actually get my Milk Kefir grains out of this that has already fermented. This has sat out for 24 hours with Milk Kefir grains, and I'll show you what they look like when we strain them out. I'll show you what they look like. This is thick. It is like yogurt, but it's tangier. It has a totally different taste than yogurt. I mean, not totally, but yeah, it's a lot tangier than yogurt is. So this fits over my Vitamix. I'm not going to blend this up. I am going to just put my colander on top and strain off. Make some lovely sounds when I do it. Strain off by rubbing it through my colander, and you might want to get a little closer so you can see how thick this really truly is once it has fermented. This was milk. This was regular liquid milk yesterday. It has this consistency of yogurt, but the Milk Kefir grains, they almost look like ricotta maybe, or how else would you say that? They look like Milk Kefir grains. I don't know of any other way. And they reproduce. So just like if you do water kefir or kombucha, other fermented things, you're going to have them grow because they're going to actually eat the sugars inside this milk and let off lactic acid. You can fact check that because I'm not 100% sure. And that's what ferments it. So. I always leave the cream on my milk when I do this. So it definitely has fat. You can skim the cream off and you'll have a lower fat drink. If you're interested in doing that, you can. Trim Healthy Mama, they say to use non-fat milk because they want you to use it as a E, which is any food that is low fat and high protein. But I leave the fat on there, I leave the cream on there because I think that is even better. Okay, we're getting down to the grains. I'm actually going to scrape my jar because my grains tend to stick to the bottom. And literally how thick. This was liquid yesterday. This is literally so thick after 24 hours with the kefir grains. You can order kefir grains online. Cultures for Health has them in a little package that you can get. I will put a link in the description box for kefir grains, Milk Kefir grains, but if you're local and you're a friend of mine, I would definitely love to hook you up with some. So this is just my Milk Kefir grains left. They're big enough that they don't go down through. They look like, I really don't know how to describe. See, that is a Milk Kefir grain right there. And all of this is milk kefir grains. There's still a little bit of kefir mixed in with it, so I'm okay with that. I'm going to be making another ½ gallon, so between 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk kefir grain is all you need. The more you have, the higher ratio of grains that you have to milk means the faster it will ferment. So this seems to work great for just 24 hours. If I can give you a closer look at what they actually look like. They don't like fall apart if you squeeze them. They're actually intact. It's not like just globs of yogurt. So to start a new fermenting, I'm going to actually put these grains into a fresh milk that I had out in my fridge. You can even do this with warm milk. The warmer the temperature, the faster it will ferment. So I just scoop it in straight to another thing of milk. And then I'm going to let this set on the counter, open to the air with some kind of you don't want bugs to get to it. So I have these handy dandy mason tops. I can link them below, but this is not necessary. I, for years, used a coffee filter and a rubber band, something that can breathe but won't let bugs get to it, because this has a smell, so bugs like it. So don't let them get to it. But I have this little mason top that you can let air up through. This is going to set on the counter for 24 hours, and I will deal with that tomorrow. So I'll put that. I actually have to keep all my ferments away from each other. So I put my milk kefir over on that side of the kitchen, and then behind my Nespresso I keep my kombucha, and then I always keep like a cheese or sourdough on this side, and I try to keep 6 feet apart from all these things. So I have a very bubbly and active kitchen. But so now that is fermenting. That will be done tomorrow, but this is already done. This milk kefir that is thick, you can actually drink it just like this, but our family loves to do a second ferment, and it makes it a little carbonated. It gives it the air bubbles that pop up in there. And we like to put blackberries. We'd love to have all our blackberries from our blackberry bushes. They look just like this, but this is not from us. We always keep these on hand just for this. And I kind of just cover this ½ gallon mason jar with blackberries. And then I will pour this already thick, this kefir that does not have our kefir grains. This does not have any kefir grains anymore. It is already fermented. Now we're going to let this second ferment with just fruit. The kefir will actually eat the sugars from the fruit, and it will be bubbly. So we want to put a jar lid that is tight on this while it is. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Yeah. We're going to keep this sealed up tight so it can eat the sugars, and it will the next day in 24 hours when I deal with that. I will do the same process. This will be done, and I will show you. It'll look just like this. And I'm going to put those two together. Kefir can stay together. That's fine. So this is already fermented. It's second ferment, and it is active and bubbly. Let me show you. It literally has carbonation. It has a fizzy taste to it. If you would watch it for a little bit, you would see bubbles come up. That's fermented. And I do it with the fruit because it tastes better that way, I feel like. So then I always just, once it's fermented the second time, overnight. So this has been in the process for 2 days. First ferment was just with milk kefir grains. Second ferment was with a sealed lid and fruit with no kefir grains. So now this is ready to eat or drink. We do it just like this. I do it all at the same time so I don't dirty up everything. I pour it into my Vitamix, the whole ½ gallon. And I always think it needs a little something, sweetener, a little sweetener, and I usually do some homemade vanilla. Yes, just like a tablespoon of vanilla for this ½ gallon. This is not necessary, but I think it really adds to the flavor so much better. And then we are going to blend it up. until I cannot see any of the berry seeds. And the Vitamix blends it really well. We had a Ninja for a while, for years, and I have to say it is nothing compared to this. So I will pour it back in the same container. I'm just showing you what I actually do every day. So this is exactly what I do. It has more air in it, so it's not going to fit in here. So I always just have to take a sample. And then I go ahead and put this little mason lid. I can link those two. This is really handy so that kids can pour it out. And I will stick this in the fridge so that if anybody wants Milk Kefir smoothies, they are welcome to serve themselves. This is done. This doesn't need to sit out anymore. So this goes in the fridge. While it's doing the first and second ferment, it is out at room temperature. So, Milk Kefir, cheers. It's better when it's cold. But this is a powerhouse of probiotics because this is raw milk fermented. So I don't think you can get much better than that. Thank you for stopping by. I'm glad I finally showed you what we do every single day to help our immune system. Maybe you can order some milk grains or Milk Kefir grains. This doesn't have to be raw milk. You can do this with regular store-bought milk. I did this for years before I ever had a milk cow because I love the nutrition value that it adds to your milk. So I'll see you later. God bless. Bye.